Everything you learned about the dawn of civilization is wrong. Completely wrong. In southeastern Turkey lies a site so ancient, so impossible, that archaeologists refuse to believe it at first. This place is 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was built when humans were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers. Living in caves. Chasing wild animals with stone spears. Yet somehow, they built this. Massive stone monuments weighing up to 20 tons each. Carved with intricate symbols and mysterious figures. All without the wheel. Without metal tools. Without any of the technology we thought was necessary for such achievements. This is Göbekli Tepe. The world's first temple. And it changes everything. For decades, historians told us a simple story about human civilization. First came agriculture around 10,000 BCE. Farming allowed people to stay in one place. This led to permanent settlements. Villages grew into towns. Towns became cities. Only then did humans build temples and monuments. Only then did we develop complex religions and social structures. This timeline made perfect sense. It was logical. It was neat. And it was completely wrong. Göbekli Tepe was built around 11,600 years ago. That's 1,600 years before agriculture even existed. Before the first farm. Before the first permanent village. Hunter-gatherers built the world's first cathedral. Small bands of nomads created something that shouldn't exist. They gathered in massive numbers. They worked together on an unprecedented scale. They moved mountains of stone. All for a purpose we're only beginning to understand. The year was 1994. German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt was surveying southeastern Turkey. Near the city of Şanlıurfa. He was following reports from the 1960s about strange stones on a hilltop. Local farmers called it Göbekli Tepe. In Turkish, this means Potbelly Hill. Schmidt climbed the barren mound. Limestone fragments covered the ground. Then he saw them. Perfectly rectangular stones jutting from the earth. This was no natural formation. Schmidt knew immediately he'd found something extraordinary. The excavations began in 1995. What emerged from the ground defied all logic. Massive T-shaped pillars arranged in perfect circles. Each pillar stood up to 18 feet tall. Each weighed between 10 and 20 tons. The radiocarbon dating came back. The results were shocking. 11,600 years old. Schmidt couldn't believe it. He tested again and again. The dates remained the same. This was the oldest monumental architecture on Earth. Older than any other temple. Older than any city. Older than the invention of writing. Older than the wheel. Schmidt would spend the rest of his life excavating Göbekli Tepe. He died in 2014, knowing he'd discovered something that rewrote history. Let's talk about what these ancient builders actually achieved. The limestone pillars were quarried from bedrock. The nearest quarry was over a kilometer away. Each pillar was carved as a single piece. No mistakes could be made. One wrong strike would ruin months of work. The pillars are T-shaped, resembling stylized humans. Some have arms carved along their sides. Hands meet at the belly, covering what might be a loincloth. But moving these giants was only the beginning. They had to be transported across rough terrain. No wheels existed. No domesticated animals to help pull. Just human muscle and primitive tools. Hundreds of people working in perfect coordination. They used log rollers. Rope made from plant fibers. Stone hammers and flint tools. Once at the site, the pillars were erected vertically. Placed in precise circular formations. Some circles contain a dozen pillars. 2 taller pillars always stand in the center. The carvings are even more incredible. Foxes leap across the stone. Wild boars charge. Snakes slither in intricate patterns. Scorpions crawl. Vultures spread their wings. Lions prowl. Spiders creep along the edges. These aren't crude scratches. They're sophisticated three-dimensional reliefs. Some animals are life-sized. The detail is extraordinary. You can see individual feathers on birds. Muscles on the lions. Scales on the serpents. There are also abstract symbols. H-shaped characters that might be an early form of writing. Geometric patterns that could represent constellations. Human figures with no faces. Everything carved with stone tools. Chipped away bit by bit. A single pillar would take months to complete. Maybe years. So why did hunter-gatherers build Göbekli Tepe? The leading theory is religious. This was humanity's first cathedral. A sacred space for rituals we can only imagine. No residential structures have been found. No cooking hearths. No water sources nearby. People didn't live here. They came here for something special. The animal carvings might represent gods or spirits. Or perhaps totems of different tribes. Each circle could belong to a different group. Meeting here for ceremonies. Feasting together. Sharing stories. Creating the first organized religion. Some researchers see astronomical alignments. The pillars might track celestial movements. The precession of the equinoxes. The rising of certain stars. Was this also an ancient observatory? A calendar in stone? But here's the biggest mystery of all. Around 8000 BCE, something incredible happened. Göbekli Tepe was deliberately buried. Not destroyed. Not abandoned. Carefully and systematically covered with dirt and debris. The entire complex was hidden. Protected. Preserved. Why? Were they hiding it from enemies? Was it a ritual burial? Did they know future generations would find it? The fill wasn't random rubble. It contained animal bones. Stone tools. Smaller carved stones. Someone wanted this place sealed. They succeeded for 10,000 years. Until Klaus Schmidt walked up that hill. We've only excavated 5% of the site. Ground penetrating radar shows at least 20 more circles underground. Some might be even older. Even more elaborate. What secrets are still buried? What will we discover next? Each dig season brings new mysteries. Pillars with pictograms that might be the world's oldest writing. Carvings that could depict a comet strike. Evidence of massive feasting events. Beer production on an industrial scale. Yes, beer. They might have invented brewing before bread. Göbekli Tepe forces us to reconsider everything. Maybe religion came first. Maybe the need to worship together drove civilization. Not the other way around. Hunter-gatherers built this temple. Then, perhaps, they needed reliable food sources for the builders. So they invented agriculture. They domesticated wheat right here in this region. The temple came before the farm. The sacred came before the practical. Belief united scattered tribes into something greater. This changes our entire understanding of human nature. We aren't just economic beings driven by survival. We're spiritual beings driven by meaning. By the need to connect with something beyond ourselves. Göbekli Tepe proves this has always been true. Even 12,000 years ago. But so many questions remain. What gods did they worship? What languages did they speak? Why did they bury their greatest achievement? What messages did they leave for us in stone? As excavations continue, new mysteries emerge. Each answer brings 10 new questions. This ancient temple still guards its secrets. What do you think Göbekli Tepe really was? Leave your theories in the comments below. And if you want to explore more ancient mysteries that challenge everything we know, subscribe to Ancient Mysteries AI. Hit the notification bell. Because the past is far stranger than we ever imagined. And we're just beginning to uncover the truth.